Hi friends, welcome to the Scapegoat Club. My name's Chess, and in this video I'm going to talk about just the only two things I think are necessary to stop children estranging from their parents. So stay tuned and we'll get right into it. Hi friends, welcome to Scapegoat Saturday. My name's Chess. I'm a therapist and a counselor and a personal coach, and I talk a lot about estrangement, and I want to talk in this video about what I think are the two basic fundamental rules that we need in our relationship to have good relationships and to stop children and parents estranging. And I'm coming to this video from the perspective of that I know that there are challenges from both sides. I know that it can be very difficult having challenging parents, and vice versa. I know that it can be really hard if you're a parent and you have a very challenging adult child. But I think these two principles can help us through pretty much all situations. There's always going to be an exception to the rule, which I know someone's going to comment about, but please let me know below what you think. So basically, without further ado, the two things that I think we need, and they sound simple, but I want to get into it, so stay with me till the end because I'm going to talk through them. But the two principles are, number one, we need kindness, and number two, we need good boundaries. Okay, they're actually two sides of the same coin when we come to it. Really, we can't be kind without good boundaries. Unless we have good boundaries, we're not taking care of ourselves, and we're not telling other people what we need to be able to have a good relationship with them. When we are overstepping someone else's boundaries, it's very difficult for them, and it's not a kind place to be. They're trying to then accommodate us when they don't have the space for that, and it can be uncomfortable, it can be really damaging. So we are wired to have good relationships with our families. Then hopefully that helps to say, okay, well then it's more likely that you are going to have a good relationship with your child. But it can go wrong. And I think for me, it's when these two principles are lost. And the first one is, and it's really, really basic, and I see it all the time, that when we forget to be kind to that person that we want to have the relationship. And so if we're talking parent-child, when the parent has forgotten to be kind to their child. And when I mean kind, I want to be very clear about what that is. What I mean by kindness is by listening, by empathizing, by treating them in a way that you would want yourself to be treated, by being supportive, and by being warm and pleasant to be around. So kind obviously doesn't mean things like criticizing, things like not listening, things like pushing your agenda above what they want. What kind isn't, it doesn't mean that you pay for everything. Also, kind doesn't mean going too far. It doesn't mean that we do everything for them and they get to call all the shots. So being kind, but not going too far in that kindness, and also not being mean. It's just kind of sitting in the middle. It's not rocket science, but unfortunately sometimes in relationships we get off kilter and our normal becomes skewed. So trying to come back to that regular kind of pleasant, reasonable way of doing things. So on the same line, having good boundaries is so key. When we have poor boundaries with a child, between a parent and child, it becomes very, very difficult. And so some parents can expect certain things from their children. They can expect the way the relationship is going to go. They can assume that the time that they get to spend with their child or even their grandchildren. They can assume what the child thinks and wants and needs. And again, they can put what they want above what the child wants. There isn't this awareness and this reciprocity of give and take that we need to have in adult relationships. And I've also seen this idea of obligation where one party owes the other party. And actually I've seen it from both sides, so let me talk you through it. From some perspectives, I've heard that parents say, well, my child owes me because I brought them into this world and I did all these things for them and I provided all this stuff for them when they were kids, and so they owe me now. I've also seen it the other way around, where kids are like, my parent had me and I didn't ask to be born, and therefore they owe me. And it doesn't work. I like to think about it as how you would like to have a good relationship with a neighbor. You obviously want to be on good terms with a neighbor. You want to make sure you're friendly, but you also want to respect each other's space and each other's privacy. So how would you act towards a good neighbor? Would you be kind to them? Would you be supportive? But would you also understand when you don't have time or energy, or you need to say no and back off, and you also allow them to say no and back off? We don't expect our neighbors to do certain things. We don't assume that our neighbors will do things for us. We don't let our neighbors dictate our emotional well-being or even our sense of value in this world. That can happen so often, especially with parents, that they connect almost their reason for living with their children and how their relationship is as a parent, between the parent and child. It doesn't define you. Your relationships with other people do not define you. Yeah, they're important and they're influential, but they are not a singular thing that gives you value or self-worth or meaning. And also, in that vein, they shouldn't be the only thing that affects your mood. It's okay that your parent is having a bad day and you're not. It's okay that your kid is having a meltdown and actually you're doing okay. Yes, we want to be kind and empathetic and listen and support, but we are separate entities, and remembering that and respecting those boundaries is just the best thing and the kindest thing we can do. So I'd love to hear what you think. Please drop me a line. I love your comments, and I hope whatever brings you to this video, that this was helpful and that you are able to be kind to yourself, kind to everybody around you, and you have a good day. Please take care, my friends. I will look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye for now.